So thank you all for joining us for this special Engine event, a presentation from one of our amazing students, Oksana. We are also joined by Oksana's Engine buddy, who will formally introduce her in just a moment. I just wanted to take a second and say that, events like these are made possible by our members and our volunteers, but especially our membership program, which is a community of volunteers and donors who commit to making a recurring monthly donation of any size to help Engine stay open. And I know many of you are on here today, and we just so appreciate your support. On behalf of everyone at Engine, I just want to thank our members for being here in our audience and for providing us with the critical support we need to run events like these and keep our program going. So we encourage you to post questions or comments at any time in the chat, but ask that you please remain muted throughout the presentation so that everybody can hear properly. There will be a few minutes for Q&A at the end, and we are recording, so we'll make this video available afterwards in our upcoming volunteer newsletter, which will go out next week. And so now I am going to hand it over to Bill Lowenburg, who is Oksana's Engine conversation partner, and he will introduce Oksana. Just a little bit about Bill first. He has been a teacher in American schools and universities for over 40 years. He is the author of several books, and his photographs have been published internationally. Bill has been a volunteer for Engine for 2 years and has also participated in the Engine Gov program. So I'll go ahead and send it over to Bill.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I live in Pennsylvania in the United States, and I've been a teacher for over 40 years. I've taught many different subjects ranging from history to photography and educational technology. Over the course of that time, I've worked with thousands of students from junior high school to graduate students at the university level. And I've never been more proud of a student than the young woman you're about to meet. When Russia invaded Ukraine in February of 2022, I wanted to support the citizens of Ukraine, but I wasn't sure how to do that. I thought that perhaps I could somehow apply my teaching experience, and several months later, I learned about Engine and volunteered. I was matched up with Oksana, and we've been working together ever since. Like all Ukrainians, Oksana and her family have been deeply affected by the war. When I first met her, she had just returned from Prague, where she spent the first months of the war while her husband Alex remained in Kyiv. For several of our early meetings on Zoom, it was dark in Oksana's home and she was wrapped in a blanket, sitting next to a candle. However, she never missed a meeting, and as you'll see, her persistence has paid off. Starting as a beginner, Oksana's English has improved remarkably. I say that because over the 2 years I've known her, while learning English, Oksana has also gotten a job, had a baby, and along with her husband, started the Willing to Help organization, which she'll tell you about today. It's been a great privilege to get to know Oksana and her family, a family which I now feel like I'm a member of. Their goodwill and determination shows why Ukraine will prevail in the present conflict and go on to become a leader among European nations in the future. I hope you enjoy today's presentation, and we look forward to answering your questions. Here's Oksana.
Thank you, Bill. Hi, everyone. My name is Oksana, and I am delighted to be here today to talk about our organization, Willing to Help, and our project, Barrier-Free Access to Justice for Veterans. Some information about NGO. Willing to Help is a non-governmental organization. Was founded in 2017 by lawyer and advocate Alexander Kylyba and other legal specialists. The primary goal of the organization is to develop and implement projects supporting the reintegration of veterans into to us, reintegration means to rehabilitate soldiers. Rehabilitation can be physiological, psychological, or to help them with social inclusion in their communities. Our organization helps veterans with the latter. In Ukraine, soldiers must file documentation to obtain veteran status before they can collect their military pension and other benefits. They must also file documentation to prove their disability status if they were injured in the war, so they may receive disability benefits. This process is complicated, and many people who have fought in the war do not know how to navigate the system to receive the benefits. They are entitled to by law, which is why we help them. So we provide legal assistance for veterans and their families, and teach veterans to use online applications for remote access to legal aid. To give you an overview of our services, here are two stories we have helped. A veteran came to us with a problem. He has not been paid correctly by the military. In Ukraine, the military pays differently based on a soldier's location. If they are on the front actively fighting, they receive higher compensation. Our lawyers demanded full information from the military unit, and they helped submit documents to the court so that he would be transferred monetary payments according to real indicators, so that he could be transferred the correct payment. Next story. If you know, when the war began and the attack on Kyiv began in February 2022, many men took up arms and went to defend the city. They were not military, simple boys, men, workers. One of them was Dmytro. He was 25, and yes, unfortunately it was. He died 2 weeks after the attack. Since then, his mother has turned to various government agencies and even lawyers. But the first only said, "We are grateful and proud of your son." And the second took the money, but in fact did nothing. Our lawyer dealt with this issue for 2 months, demanded all the necessary documents, and turned to the ministry, had meetings with the police and security service of Ukraine. In July this year, we received the first result, a certificate of establishing the fact of direct participation in the events, which is the basis for granting the status of a family member of the fallen defender of Ukraine. 1 month later, Dmytro's mother received the status of a family member of the fallen. It is important to note that obtaining such a status, family member of the fallen defender of Ukraine, allowed the mother to receive a monetary payment and, equally important, recognition and documentary confirmation that her son was a hero. About 80% of our legal assistance is providing answers to questions from veterans over the phone. About 20% is filing appeals or reports for the military. Soldiers often must file written requests to the military. In Ukraine, we simply call these reports. Or they could be for many different things. They could be to go on vacation or resign. They could be to request reimbursement of some funds or a request for funds for rehabilitation. In a word, report is the universal name of a document that includes all types of statements and appeals for the military. Soldiers contact us asking questions like how to correctly write an appeal, how to get a participant in hostility certificate, like in Dmitro's case. How can the family of the deceased have benefits for recovery? Soldiers must also file reports to obtain proper status. Status includes participant in hostilities, participant in the war, persons with disabilities or as a result of war. Depending on these statuses, they receive different benefits, but they are all veterans. We assist them, we show them where to go and who to write. During rehabilitation or treatment, it is important for veterans to be able to file their legal paperwork remotely, because often they simply cannot physically travel, or it is very difficult to get to an office to file in person. There are services that allow you to sign documents online and send appeals through electronic offices, so that you can receive your pension and other benefits. Also, it is possible to participate in the court session online via video link. So we teach veterans how to navigate these services through digital literacy training. Here are some examples of reasons a veteran may need to attend court. To dispute incorrect payments. In Ukraine, depending on the period in which you were in the war, in particularly dangerous zone, there may be different monetary payments a soldier is owed. For example, if a veteran was in a dangerous zone, such a zone is called a combat zone, for more than 30 days, he should not be paid for ordinary service in the army. He should be paid more for being in the combat zone. This type of error happens often because the frontal zone is constantly changing, and sometimes there are confusions. In this case, the veteran can apply to the court. Or he may also need to be in court for other personal reasons. Divorce from wife or husband, cannot share land with a neighbor. That is, it can be not only military issues. We implement our project in a rehabilitation center. So veterans can solve their issues even while undergoing rehabilitation or just training, or just see what is possible, to not have to go to court, just open the laptop. It is also important for us to interest them in something new for them. It is also very important for reintegration, in order to give them motivation. We implemented the barrier-free access to justice for veterans project in April 2024 in the Миргород-Курорт Rehabilitation Center in Poltava region. Through this project, we purchased 10 laptops with headsets, a printer, and a projector. Veterans can use the laptops to attend court hearings, study for online classes, attend job training, and for personal correspondence. As a result, over 50 veterans have been training. Over 100 have received legal advice. 32 appeals to government ministries have been prepared. Types of appeals include clarification of certain norms of the laws, consideration of status cases of family members of the fallen defenders, consideration of cases of missing soldiers, applications for granting the status of participant in hostilities, and others. We want to develop this project, the project throughout Ukraine. Additional rehabilitation centers will be added. Many more veterans will need legal services. We will encourage veterans to defend their rights. We believe that our work and this project will help veterans to return to normal life. Thank you for your attention. You can also follow our news on Facebook or website and join the team. We will be glad. If you have any questions, I will be happy to answer them.
Thank you so much, Oksana. I know that as folks are asking their questions in the chat, I just wanted to go ahead and ask you a question that I have, which is, you know, a lot of times in the United States, we hear, we've heard stories about some of the women on the front lines, women who have volunteered, you know, to be a part of the military. Have you ever served women? Does your rehabilitation serve women? And if so, you know, what would you say the split is, let's say, between men and women that you serve?
Mm-hmm. You mean female soldiers? Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Female soldiers called for advice too. But if we talk about appeals from women in general. More often, we receive calls for help from mothers, sisters, or wives of soldiers.
And that's to obtain, I'm assuming, the proper status for a fallen soldier or to get benefits.
About proper status, I remember only once story about veteran.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. I think you know, one thing that we always talk about, I mean, here in the United States, but also in general, is you know, the role of women in the military and what, you know, how that differs, you know, between female and male benefits and what types of things that female soldiers need versus what male soldiers need. Another question for you, I think, was where or what types of jobs do you see soldiers working after they leave the military?
We must understand that some of them cannot work. There are veterans without arms or legs, and they undergo rehabilitation for a long time. Those who have found strength and motivation can open veteran businesses. In Ukraine, on the last year, it's popular. I read about several projects from the state and Ukrainian Veteran Fund that they help with this. Some go back to work where they worked before the war. But this is a good story. War is terrible, and I don't know if it's correct. People break down, especially after hostilities, and when they have problems in civil life, it is even more difficult. Maybe that is why we are proud, to help them solve their problems.
Thank you. And Lornette, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you so you can ask your question. There we go.
Hi, hello everybody. Oksana, hi, thank you. That was a wonderful, very informative, thank you. How can we help with this venture? How can we help to assist with their legal documents? How can we help them to do stuff online? Is it just exactly like the same buddy program that we have currently? Would we have to just take on more volunteers, or is there a way that we can help the veterans at this point?
So I think how can we as engine volunteers maybe step in to help the veterans? Is that what you're asking, Lornette?
Yes, yes.
Okay. What can we do, Oksana?
I understand that you only know about Ukrainian legal. Yeah, it's true. But support for veterans can have different ways, such as tell the world about them. It's nice. To support some project of veteran. More project veterans public in their Facebook pages or other. of course, we can also talk about financial support for projects and for veteran-like person, for treatment, prosthesis, it's and other, yeah. For example, we are looking for opportunities, financial and partners to scale our project. It's like about us, yeah, and we on this in Ukraine help veterans. But you know, I'm telling you about our project now, and your interest in it, this is already a great motivation for us for future development. And I understand that tomorrow I will have more job, and with this motivation, I am here in Kyiv, can make more for them. If you have some advice or tips, propositions for our organizations from your side, for scale, for I don't know, maybe you will see some which will help only like okay, you are not a better organization, but oh, try this or try that. We will be glad. Thank you.
Thank you, Oksana.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks. So it's good to know that just being here today and being supportive of your mission and your organization is helpful to you if it's helping bolster, you know, your efforts. I did go ahead and drop the link to your website in the chat. So if anybody would like to spread the word about her organization, I know the website is in Ukrainian, but if you use Google Chrome, it should translate it into English without any issues. I am just so grateful to have gotten to know Oksana over the past few months in preparation for this, and this has just been a wonderful chance to illustrate how Engine works. And thank you so much, Oksana, for presenting to us, and thank you so much for telling us about the work of your important organization. I just wanted to say again, special thanks to our Engine members. Without your support, events like this would not be possible. We will make this recording available and send it out in our next volunteer newsletter, which is going out next week. And again, if you are interested in learning more about Oksana's organization, Willing to Help, you can look at their website. The link for that is in the chat. And I will stay on for a few minutes just to make sure everybody gets that link. Otherwise, thank you all for your support and have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Oksana. It was
Thank
perfect.
you. Very nice. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Emily.
We wish
Thank
you
you,
well.
Emily. Thank you, Emily.